Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our mobile overview. We look forward to showing you and telling you a little bit more about Cosential's mobile capabilities. This is part of a series of demo webinars that Cosential provides. Some are focused on our desktop application around the CRM use case. Others are focused on the desktop application around our marketing use case. Today's session is going to be focused on Cosential's mobile applications, how they're used in the real world, what kind of value folks are getting from them. Let you guys have a chance to ask some questions and see them in action. So let's just dive right in here and get started. So we're going to start by telling you a little bit about Cosential, just kind of an overview of us as an organization and how we've gotten to where we are today. We're going to dive right into the mobile card reader application. We're going to talk about some of the mobile capabilities that we've built into these tools, things like contact enrichment. And we're also going to dive into the CRM mobile application. I think the main point of today's presentation is to fully understand how a CRM application can help you improve your sales and relationships when you're out in the field. I think we would all agree that most of the more successful salespeople in the industry are successful because they're out and about, they're talking to clients, they're going to conferences, they're showing up at people's offices, they're creating and forming relationships. And a lot of that's not happening while they're sitting at their desk in front of their computer. So the mobile apps are important because they give the folks that are maintaining those relationships the opportunity to capture information live and keep information from slipping through the cracks. So when you're having a live conversation about a potential future project, there's a good chance you're going to miss some information if you're going to retain that in your head, get back to your office, and then try to get that into your CRM system. So the purpose of these mobile applications is to capture that information live while it's still fresh and top of mind, and make sure that we get that into the hands of the right people. So just a little bit about Cosential. We've been around for a little while now. We're going on about 20 years of doing business within the AEC market. All of our customers are within the AEC market, so we're only working with architects, engineers, construction companies, subcontractors, and the like. We focus our solution around CRM as well as proposal automation. The reason that we're a little bit different than other solutions you may have seen is because we're purpose-built for companies that sell projects as opposed to products. So, these companies that are using Cosential, they're selling themselves, they're selling the work that they've done before. It's important they use a CRM system that's built to make that easy for them to do. We are 100% cloud-based, which means anywhere you have an internet connection, you can access Cosential. And like we'll talk about today, we've got great mobile apps so that if you're outside of the office, you can still be keeping track of your business and the relationships that you're managing. We have a lot of clients in this space. We're working with about 1,100 folks right now, 1,100 different companies that use Cosential. A large portion of those companies are top firms within the E&R, top contractors. Like most software companies, we like to show the big names and show that we're scalable and that we can stretch our solution to reach those large multinational organizations. But the truth is a majority of our customers are medium, small-sized companies, and they're solving similar problems as these big companies. They want to understand who's talking to who, what projects are in the hopper, what we need to be prepared for, how much revenue we should be forecasting. All that happens through the CRM system. When we talk about the different use cases that Cosential focuses on, we really kind of put them in these three different buckets. So when we talk about business development, it's really anybody in the organization who has a sales mentality. Sometimes these are architects and engineers who wear that dual doer-seller hat. Sometimes it's folks with an explicit business development title. But the similar theme amongst these folks is these are the folks that are looking for future projects. They're using their relationships and their business skills to identify, where we might be able to win future work. So for these kinds of users, it's important to keep it simple. So ease of use is the number one priority when we talk about the business development use case and the sales use case, making it easy for these folks to get in, do their job, and keep on moving within their day. When we talk about the marketing use case, we're referring to the marketer's role as it relates, as it relates to proposal coordination. So bringing together all the projects and all the details about their staff that have given way for a powerful proposal. So it's consolidating all that information, making it easy to understand. The third use case we focus on is the folks at the top of the organization. So your principals, your vice presidents, your senior folks, they're interested in the data that they can get out of a tool like Cosential. So they can see what projects are coming, are we prepared for them? They can start looking forward as they look to forecast instead of looking back at how we did last quarter. We want them looking forward in terms of what do we have in the hopper for this quarter. Automation is important for the folks at the top of the organization, as well as integrations. So when we talk integrations with Cosential, it was important to us to build a flexible tool that made it easy for you to integrate into all the different tool sets you might be using. Primarily, a lot of companies we work with focus on their financial system. They want to be able to bring in project information from their financial system so they can tee it up for their marketing team. We also have integrations across Cosential with different lead service organizations. We can create or produce Excel documents or InDesign documents for marketers. You'll see we have contact enrichment that brings in LinkedIn data. So really anything that has a SQL backend or an open API, Cosential has the ability to integrate with. Now, our focus today is going to be on mobile solutions. So just a very quick slide here about the mobile tools that you're about to see. We have mobile tools built for both iOS and Android. They're available through the respective app stores for both of those platforms. They are, of course, cloud-based. We have cool features that are included in these mobile apps that make using them a lot less painful for the end users. So things like voice to text, business card scanners, it allows folks to get information into the system without having to type it out on their little cell phones. So it gives them the ability to just speak into their phone to get notes and information in, as well as take pictures of things like business cards so you can get that information into your system quickly. Now, I think it's important to note that, over time and especially over the last handful of years here, the mentality around mobile has shifted. You can see here that as of 5 years ago, there was 41% of the AEC market that wasn't really concerned about mobility, and being able to do your work while you're on the run. Today, that number's changed, right? We're at 16% of folks now feel like it's not a very important piece of the puzzle. So a majority of customers are taking time to understand mobile solutions, how they can enable their end users, the folks out in the field, to continue being productive and efficient while they're not sitting at their desks. So with that, let's jump right into our mobile app demonstration. So we're going to start in our card reader application. So let me get this shared for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to use our question box within the GoToWebinar control panel. So I'm sharing my live cell phone right now. You can see that I'm able to navigate around my cell phone real time. So the card reader application that you see at the top left of my screen is where we're going to go first. When I enter the Cosential card reader application, it's going to prompt me to log in. Now, I've set my card reader application to log in with Touch ID. You can do the same with your phone if it's enabled to do so. So all I need to do is put my thumb on my print, and I'm now logged into my mobile app. So the purpose of the card reader app is simply to capture information by taking pictures of business cards and being able to automatically create that contact or that information within your CRM system. So we're going to give some examples for you guys here in terms of how people use this from day to day. The basic use case around using the card reader application is, folks are out and about. They're, going to breakfast. They're going to get coffee. They're going to conferences. They're going to customers' offices. Every time they're out and about, they need to have their sales hat on, and they need to be looking for folks that, might have an opportunity to do future business. So you walk into a Starbucks and you run into an old colleague. You go to a conference and meet 25 new people. You go to your client site and you meet, the 10 executives that you hadn't had an opportunity to meet yet. All those are great use cases for why the card reader app exists, and it exists so that you can capture that information real time, get it into your CRM application, and take action on it. So I have a business card here that I'm going to use just as a quick example. So let's say I went to Starbucks this morning. I ran into Madeline. Madeline and I had a brief conversation. And Madeline said, hey, we should catch up. I have a gymnasium refurbish that we're working on right now, your services would be ideal. So let's talk about it. So first thing I'm going to do is take a picture of Madeline's card here. Now I have an option here if I want to create a lead or if I don't want to create a lead. Now the difference here is, do I need to talk to Madeline about a potential project, or do I just want to capture who is Madeline and who does she work for? If I'm trying to identify a future project and I want to follow up with Madeline, then I'm going to create a lead. So I'm going to click that box that says create a lead. Now, as Madeline had mentioned, this is a gym refurb. So my name of the lead is just going to simply be gym refurb. I can enter some notes here. I'm going to use my voice to text option because it's faster and easier for me. Madeline said to follow up, they are refurbishing a gym and we may be a fit. So those notes are going to go with the lead. The lead is going to notify myself and my team of a future project opportunity. In addition to that, I might want to capture some information about the contact herself. So I can click into my contact notes here and say, ran into Madeline at Starbucks. She's pointing us towards some projects. Make sure to stay close to her. I can also categorize the company that Madeline works for, categorize the type of contact that she is. These are pulling straight down from my Cosential value lists. And then I can process that card. Now, when I process the card, it's going to give me an estimated time. Now, usually it finishes faster than that time. The reason it's giving me an estimated time here is because it's going to go through a dual process to ensure that we have this information correct. So first, it's going to send Madeline's card through an optical character recognition program. So basically what that means is the computer is going to look at Madeline's card, and the computer is going to take a guess at what we're trying to get into the system. Now, sometimes the computer is going to be just right, and sometimes the computer is going to be wrong. This day and age, a lot of times folks are using cool graphics and illustrations to reflect their business names or their company names. Sometimes the computer has trouble understanding that. So if there's any discrepancies, if there's any areas of that card that are not perfectly clear to the computer, it's going to tee up an individual person to also take a look at this. So that way we're going to have human eyes on this, and the human is going to read this card, make sure that what the computer had thought it said, it agreed with, and it's going to put that information into the system once it's been confirmed by those human eyes. So the goal here is to take pictures of, the one or several cards that you had the opportunity to put into the system, come back in a handful of minutes, and your information's in Cosential. Now, in addition to scanning cards and getting information into Cosential, the card reader app is also going to serve as my virtual Rolodex when I need to find contacts and contact folks. So you saw I clicked on my little menu button right at the top here, those three stripes. That brought me to my card reader application menu. If I click on contacts here, it's going to show me all the contacts that are assigned to me. Currently, 326 of these contacts are my contacts. These are contacts that I have ownership or some sort of relationship with. Now, if I need to expand that view, I can go into my filter, and I can turn off the My Contacts filter. So now I want to see all contacts. And so just like that, I'm now looking at the 7,461 contacts that I have permission to view within Cosential. So this will follow my permissioning in Cosential. If for some reason I have restricted a person from being able to see certain types of contacts, the card reader application will recognize that and will follow those same role-based permissions that you've set. Now within this, I have the ability, and I'm just going to go back and click it back to my contacts. I have the ability to click on any of my contacts here. Of course, I can search for them in the top search bar. I have a alphabet on the right side if I want to hot link to a specific letter of the alphabet. But let's say I need to give Alana Abney a call. I can click on her contact record here. I can do click to call. So if I click that phone icon, it's going to automatically call Alana. When I hang up the phone, it's going to tee me up for a call log. So it's going to say, hey, you just made a phone call. You called this person. What did you talk about? So I can fill in this call log with some notes on what we talked about. Of course, I can use voice to text to avoid having to type with my phone. I can also do the same with email. So I can send an email from this, and it's going to auto log the email for me. I can also use mapping functions. So if I want to get a point dropped onto my mobile map, I can press that little icon. I can also, I can also get driving directions by clicking the road icon. One of the things that I personally appreciate about the mobile application, and something that I think the folks on the phone will also, is how fast it stays in sync with our desktop application. So I wanted to go through just a quick example of what that means and why it's valuable. So I'm going to use a colleague of mine as a quick example here, and we're going to search for Bobby Hollis in our mobile app. Now you can see as I enter Hollis, I don't have any Hollises that show up here. So I don't have access to a Bobby Hollis. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump into my desktop application, and I'm just very quickly going to do the same. So we're going to search for Bobby Hollis just to confirm that there's no Bobby Hollis present. We're going to create Bobby from scratch. So I can use my hot links here and go to a new contact. First thing it's going to ask me for is what company Bobby works for. He's a Cosential employee, so I'm going to enter Cosential, attach him to the Cosential account. His first name is Bobby. His last name is Hollis. I can enter a title for him. He is our VP of Marketing. And down here, I'm going to enter Bobby's email address. And get that record saved. So I've now created Bobby in my desktop application. Let's quickly now bounce back to our mobile phone. And let's search for Bobby. There's Bobby Hollis that we just created. It has him attached to our correct company, has his address and email information correct. But let's say I want to gain a little bit more information about Bobby. Maybe I want to see what Bobby's all about in his real life. So maybe I want to do some social contact enrichment. You see up at the top of Bobby's record, I have a little magic wand. When I click that little magic wand, it's going to look out to all the social profiles associated with Bobby Hollis, and it's going to use those social profiles to update this record for me. So as it enriched my contact, you can see it immediately populated Bobby's record with a picture of Bobby. This is from his LinkedIn profile. It gave me information about his LinkedIn profile right here. I can also click up at the top if you see the triangle, and I can look at what other social profiles that I've brought in, and this is a hot link to those social profiles. So if I want to go to Bobby's LinkedIn profile, I can press LinkedIn. It's going to take me directly to there. And just to show you the full back and forth here, let me go back into Cosential real quick. We're still on Bobby's record. All I need to do is refresh. And we've now brought in all the social information from our contact enrichment tool, including Bobby's picture. We can do the same level of contact enrichment for companies. As you're familiar with LinkedIn and those other social platforms, we give companies the ability to put in their logos, to put in summaries about what they do and where they're located. So we can also use contact enrichment to address a company as opposed to just a person or an individual. This app is real time. It moves very, very quickly. It's important that it does so because as you're capturing information in the real world, sometimes there's people sitting internally in the office waiting for that information. The mobile app ensures that that information is not lost in translation, that it happens immediately, that everybody's aware of what's going on. So let me put a pause on our card reader app, and I'm going to now jump into our other mobile application, our CRM application. So again, just to reiterate, the purpose of our mobile app is twofold. For our card reader app, it's so that we can quickly gather information and have all of our contacts available for quick outreach. So this is going to give me a list of all the people I have access to. I can click to call, quickly log that information. But sometimes the work that I'm doing from the road is going to be more centered around projects or opportunities that I'm working on. So I'm going to go into our Cosential CRM application. When I log into my Cosential, sorry about that. At least we know this is a live demo. So when I go into my Cosential CRM application, it's going to immediately bring me to a screen that shows me my most recent things that I've interacted with. So right now I'm looking at the most recent companies that I've looked at. I can also look at the most recent contacts. Obviously, Bobby's at the top. Call logs, opportunities, leads, and project information. Now, similar to the card reader application, I have a three-stripe menu button up in the top left. So when I press that three-stripe menu button, it's going to take me to a menu of the different modules that I have available here. Now you'll notice at the very top of these modules is a small black area where I can type to search. This is going to do a global search across all of my data in Cosential. So if I'm looking for a company or a person, I can just simply start typing in their information. Let's say in this case I'm looking for Green Mountain Companies. They're a company I do a lot of business with. It's going to find that information, surface it to the top. And when I click on Green Mountain Companies, it's going to give me company information about this firm. Everything from the people I know to the project work that I've done to the open opportunities that I have. Similar to the card reader app, I can do click to call from this. So if I want to call that business phone number, I can just press that phone icon. I can also get mapping directions to this office by clicking the road icon. I can see a list of all the contacts that I know here. I can also see a list of all the opportunities and projects that I've done with Green Mountain Companies. So this is showing me all the project information. If I want to dive into a project, I can click the orange button. It's going to take me to the details of this project, including the location, the owner-client details, completion dates, total project costs. It's going to give me mapping directions to the project address. It's also going to reference the project team who worked on this from my firm. So I can see all the folks. It's got their pretty pictures. It's got their time with the firm. It's got their start dates and end dates. So we're collecting all this information because sometimes when you're out on the road and you're about to walk into a client's office, the best thing you can do before you step foot in that office is to educate yourself a little bit. Do some research on the last projects that we've worked on with them. Who were they involved with? Who would they know? Drop those names when you're sitting down talking to them because you have access to all of it from your fingertips as you walk through the door. Now, in addition, I can also, from my mobile app, see my agenda. So this allows me to very quickly see what sort of items I've set for myself to do today or past due. I can also see a list of companies and filter them. I can see a list of contacts and filter them. I can create leads and opportunities from my mobile app. So I'll click on the opportunities here. If I want to add a new opportunity, you can see in the bottom left I have an add button. If I click that add button, it's going to ask me what kind of opportunity I want to create. Now, one thing that we recommend to customers, if you're going to allow your team to create opportunities from the road, let's make it easy for them to do it. Instead of giving them a form that has 50 fields to fill out, let's make a mobile opportunity quick and easy for these users. So I'm going to select a mobile op. And so now it's going to generate a form for me that's specific to mobile users. And so we've minimized the amount of information that is being gathered. All we're asking for is client information, the name of the opportunity, what stage are we in, and what's the estimated cost. At that point, I can save it and I can move on because we want those folks that are using the mobility to be able to get in fast, enter their information, and get on with their day without being held down or slowed down by the application. Something else that you can do within the opportunities, you can do this within opportunities, projects, and companies, is you can use our mapping functionality. And this is something that has saved my day personally when I found myself in an unfamiliar city, had about 15 minutes to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my day, and found that I could quickly come into my opportunities module. And if you see at the bottom right, there's a map button. When I click that map button, it's going to show me where I'm located geographically, and it's going to drop pins everywhere where I have an open opportunity near me. Now, the way I used this is, I was traveling, like what happens when you travel. My client ended up having to cancel their meeting at the last minute, so I found myself in Pittsburgh by myself without much direction on what I should be doing or where I should be going. I quickly pulled out my mobile app, dropped pins where all my open opportunities from my team were, and I was able to schedule a meeting quickly and go out and see somebody who I was literally just down the street from. Wouldn't have known that if I didn't pull this up on my mapping. Let's see here. You can also create leads from your mobile app. So if I wanted to do that, I can first look at and see my leads, and then again at the bottom left, I have an add button. All right. So, for the most part, I would say this is how I personally use our mobile app. Now, of course, there's additional functionality. I can look into more project-based information. I can look at personnel data, so I can see information about the people who've done work on these projects. But for me personally, this is kind of how my use case plays out using our mobile app. I think using both tools in conjunction is a really, really great way to leverage the tool set available to you to not lose efficiency when you leave your office. There's no reason to walk away with a conversation and try to remember information about that conversation. Your goal is to capture that information real time while it's happening so you don't lose information, as well as to use your mobile application to educate yourself a little bit before you walk into a situation. Do some research on who you know, who's done work, all the important things that really strengthen a relationship and show a client that you know what's going on, that you care about their situation, and you don't start every conversation cold. So for the most part, this is what I wanted to show today. We welcome any sort of questions. I do have one question that I just was notified of. Is there an additional cost associated with the card reader app, or is it included in our subscription payment? That's a great question, and I have a great answer for you. That is absolutely free of charge. So everything you've seen here today is included with your subscription price. You don't have to pay extra to access either application. You don't have to pay extra to scan cards and automatically bring that information into your system. The reason we do that is because we want using Cosential to be easy. We want using Cosential to be efficient, and we feel that these tools really put us in a good position to deliver on that. And so it's important to us to give this capability to all of our customers, despite any sort of cost or money implications. So as we wrap up our time here, I just want to thank you all for spending the last 30 minutes with us talking about Cosential Mobile. I invite you to dive deeper into Cosential if you haven't already. Please feel free to visit our website, and please feel free to request a demonstration. Thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to present to you, and we'd love an opportunity to talk with you a little bit deeper about your CRM needs and see if Cosential might be a fit. So everybody have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. We hope to hear from you. Thanks a lot.